My name's Lawrence Osueke, light heavyweight boxer, and watching Sporting Icons.
So Lawrence Osueke, a guy that I know very well, I spoke to him on many occasions, on camera, off camera. Very, very humble guy, very, very nice guy, very ambitious as well. And, you know, as much as I try and probe him as much as I possibly can, when you call out this guy, when you call out that guy, as in be quite specific about it, he's always, well, I'll fight anyone, especially if there's a title on the line. Okay, and that's pretty much Lawrence, okay? He's a very, very humble guy. Of course, he's trained by my very good friend Nick Gittis at the Wolves End Boxing Academy here in Newcastle. And if I was to ask any of you guys, what is it that you think of Lawrence Osueke? For those of you who have watched any number of his fights, you'll probably all be in unison by saying, very, very skillful fighter, very high ring IQ, excellent footwork, excellent jab. Yeah, and you can see that he has a very good, strong pedigree as an amateur. Okay, but he needs to throw that right hand a bit more, maybe be a little bit more aggressive in the ring. I think that's probably a fair point. Now, as with boxing, doesn't matter what you do in the past, you're always judged on your last fight or two. So most people will go, well, he hasn't really looked too good in his last couple of fights. Of course, he took a loss on points to Dan Aziz. No shame in that. I think Dan Aziz is a quality underrated fighter. And of course, he got a draw with Ricky Summers. For me, he beat Ricky Summers, but didn't get the decision on the night. And the Matchroom show is what it is. So that's how people are going to judge you here in boxing, okay, on your last couple of performances. Now, it doesn't really matter if I tell you or not, but he did have some personal issues around those times, okay? So his performances were shown because of his personal problems. Now, that's entirely up to him to go into details if that's what he wants to do. But that's not what this video is about. For me, I want Lawrence Osueke to show the world that he's as good as what I believe he will be, as what Nick Gittis believes he can be, as Steve Wraith believes he can be, and all those who know him. We all know he's got the ability, but it's time to prove it, okay? So, I mean, I could make a video and say, I'd like him to fight the winner of Shakan Pitters versus Craig Richards for the British light heavyweight title. I'll do a video on that, but people go, well, surely to God, he needs a win first. That's a fair point. A rematch with Dan Aziz. Dan Aziz go, okay, we'll go get a win or two, and then we'll look at it. So, we're not going to be talking about them, and of course, we're not going to talk about Boaty, Callum Johnson, Anthony Yard, all that kind of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit realistic for now, and then we'll look at those fights at a later date. For now, I want to see Lawrence Osueke in with a couple of guys. Most notably, someone like a Dex Spelman. Dex Spelman, of course, his last couple of fights, he's got a loss to Lyndon Arthur, and of course, Anthony Yard. So surely Dex Spelman, you want to get back to winning ways, right? Lawrence Osueke hasn't looked too good in his last couple of fights. Could you get that win? If you believe that you can, have a word with your team. Have a word with Queensbury, Matchroom, Hennessy, whatever. Putting an offer to Lawrence Osueke. Hell, maybe get an English title on the line or something like that, right? Same with Chad Sugden. Again, he's a very good fighter, but of course his last couple of fights, much like Lawrence, he's got a loss and a draw in his last two fights. Got a draw with Craig Richards, and of course he lost to Shakan Pitters. So, Chad, surely you want to rectify that coming out of 2020. You don't want to end 2020 with a loss and a draw. Much like Dex Spelman, you don't want to end 2020 with two losses on your resume like that, do you? Surely you could look at a Lawrence Osueke and think, well, you know what, he don't punch very hard. Didn't look great against Dan Aziz. Didn't look fabulous against Ricky Summers. I can get a win. If you really believe in yourselves, have a word with the promoters that I know you guys have contacts with, such as Frank Warren, Mick Hennessy, Eddie Hearn, whatever it may be, and let's get a fight with Lawrence Osueke on. For me, I think he beats you both, to be brutally honest with you. And I know that you guys are big, strong, fighting men. You guys will get in there with anybody. Of course, you've shown that. Of course you have. So nobody could say that you wouldn't. But Lawrence Osueke, would you want to risk it? It's a high-risk fight, but probably not too much reward. But if you guys can maybe get the English title on the line, or a WBO International, or a WBO European, especially if you're if a Frank Warren wants to put that kind of fight on, then do so. Contact Steve Wraith, go fight Lawrence Osueke. In my opinion, he beats you both. Maybe you want to prove me wrong. If you do, let's do it. Let's get it on. For me, I think Lawrence Osueke, now everything's sorted out in his personal life, you're going to see the real Lawrence Osueke. And this time next year, I want to be talking about Lawrence Osueke potentially fighting a Anthony Yard, a Callum Johnson, a Joshua Buatsi, rematch with Dan Aziz, Lyndon Arthur. I want to be talking about them. But right now, let's be realistic. These are the kind of guys that I think Lawrence Osueke should be fighting. And I think these are the kind of guys that he can really show what it is that he's got. If you guys disagree, cool. Make an offer. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all in the next video.